My name is Ali Baki. I'm a adjunct senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations. And I think the Öcalan statement is only the beginning of a process. There's a lot for it to happen before we see any positive results. And it is also a call for the Turkish state to start relaxing and reducing the repression on Kurds and, by the way, on others too in Turkey.
Hişyar Özsoy, former Deputy Chair of People's Democratic Party and a Member of Parliament. I have been also studying Kurdish politics as an academic. Today, Mr. Abdullah Öcalan made a statement. It was actually a specific call on the PKK to gather its Congress for disarmament, to lay down arms. So it is not very surprising. Everybody was talking about this statement to come. So it was a very short, very brief statement. And the expectation, of course, was the PKK to lay down arms. Now we have to wait for the PKK and also the Turkish government to respond to this call. Probably the PKK will go for it and be supportive of Öcalan's statement. But at the same time, they will have certain conditions because everybody is now asking the question, two questions. One is how the PKK will, how this disarmament process will take place. I mean, in what specific form? Will there be any legal guarantees? And the second, and I think more important question is how the disarmament of the PKK and the resolution of the Kurdish problem in general, how they are intertwined, how the Turkish government is going to respond. Is the Turkish government ready to make some legal and political reforms to expand the Kurdish political landscape in Turkey and genuinely address the Kurdish issue for self-government, for cultural rights? That is all to be seen. So Öcalan is taking a great risk and responsibility, honestly, trying to shift the kind of political background of the Kurdish question from one of armed struggle, which the Turkish state views as terrorism, to one of full political engagement. So let's hope that the Kurdish issue can be discussed, debated, and ultimately resolved without people killing each other or getting killed.
My name is Joe Reeder. I've worked with the Kurds for about 15 years, over 15 years, and have visited there many times, served in the Pentagon, and was in my early days a soldier. And I've been asked about Öcalan's statement, I believe this morning or maybe late yesterday, and I would welcome that statement. He called for the laydown of arms. Obviously, it now has to happen, and hopefully the PKK followers all comply with that. And I think it's a good, it's progress. But this has been a battle for many years, decades, and so it's going to take some time to resolve.
Hi, this is Ayşe Betül Çelik, Professor of Political Science and Conflict Resolution at Sabancı University, Istanbul. I think this is a very important day since we received a long-awaited message from Öcalan, and I think things are still vague because we don't know how each side will react to this call, but it's important because it's a call for end of armed struggle, yet we know from other peace processes around the world that the armed rebel groups will not give up arms without getting some sort of political development. So we still have time to see what the PKK Congress would ask in return for giving up arms. But it's important for the Turkish society that the message came in a way to address the fears of Kurdish society.
My name is David Romano. I hold the Thomas G. Strong Chair in Middle East Politics at Missouri State University. Öcalan's statement today about the PKK dissolving itself is an opportunity to promote peace, but only if the Turkish state reciprocates, only if they take the opportunity to also give something. If instead the Turkish state tries to simply claim a victory and not offer any genuine conditions for peace, it will be a lost opportunity and perhaps one of the last opportunities for peace. So I hope that in Ankara they look at this opportunity as a serious moment that they must also give something for.
I am Professor Necmettin Kerim and Jalal Talabani, Chair of Kurdish Political Studies Program at the University of Central Florida. And I think what's happening today is historic. And both the Kurds in Turkey and the Kurds in Syria and elsewhere will have to pay attention to what's happening today in Turkey. Turkey and the Kurdish movement and the PKK and the Syrian Democratic Forces and all other Kurdish groups and movements in Bashur, in Rojhelat, they all are part of what's happening in the broader Middle East. And I think what Mr. Öcalan has announced today is something that both or all parties should be paying attention to, because after 40 years of conflict, it is clear that there is no solution to the Kurdish question, to the Kurdish issue in Turkey through violence. And all parties involved, including the Turkish government, the Turkish state, must take advantage of this historic announcement to find a diplomatic solution, a political solution to the Kurdish conflict in Turkey that could pave the way for a Turkish-Kurdish alliance, a Turkish-Kurdish partnership that would potentially goes beyond the borders of Turkey, extending into Syria and Iraq. Turkey could take advantage of this historic moment, and I hope that it will be the case.
I'm Professor Michael Gunter, Tennessee Tech University in the United States, and I met Abdullah Öcalan in Damascus, Syria in March 1998, and I stayed with him for several days and so forth, and I have, of course, written a lot about the Kurdish situation. I hope for the best about the recent statement Öcalan has made, but frankly, given the history of all this, I do not think that this is going to be successful, because Turkey is asking Öcalan to just give up and disband the PKK, and the only thing Turkey will do is, Öcalan, you've been in prison for quarter of a century, we'll let you go out as an old man and you can live out your life as a private citizen. Öcalan is not going to do that and give up his entire career for just being let out of prison. I hope that maybe we can begin a dialogue here, but I would be very careful, because the history teaches that Turkey does not want to make a honest dialogue with the Kurds. Turkey wants Öcalan to give up and surrender and disband, and the Kurds are never going to do.
I'm Mateen Serbest. I'm an attorney. Mr. Kurd, your question of what I think of the Öcalan's recent statement on the peace or PKK laying down the arms requires further studies. I believe it's not unconditional. So Öcalan is not necessarily asking PKK to lay down the arms, but rather it's part of the peace negotiation. And this is just the initial ignition of the peace process. We have to wait and see how it will come around.